Okay, hey, I also love your videos. Was wondering if you could do a video performing a Clarey test on Ted Bundy. His case always fascinated me. Thanks, and please keep me anonymous. I always confused him. Is he the ugly one? And then there was another guy who was very attractive, and the girls all liked him, and that's how. Because isn't Ted Bundy the not Al Bundy, Ted Bundy? So let's do a Clarey test. I don't think he should run for office, and no, I would not like a beer with him. Ted Bundy, yeah, this was the good-looking guy. Who was the ugly guy? Uh, Theodore Robert Bundy, born Cowell, 1946-1989. Oh, did he die in prison? Well, he must have. American serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. After more than a decade of denials, he confessed to 30 homicides committed in 7 states between 70. Good Lord, in 4 years? That's almost one a month. I mean, guy, you gotta get some hobbies, man. But Jesus. His true victim total is unknown and believed by some investigators to be higher. Bundy was regarded as handsome and charismatic, traits that he exploited to win the trust of victims and society. He would typically approach his victim in public places, feigning injury or disability or impersonating an authority figure before knocking him unconscious and taking him to secluded locations to rape and strangle. Oh, God. He sometimes revisited his victims, grooming and performing sexual acts with the decomposing corpse. Oh. Until putrefaction and destruction by wild animals made further interactions impossible. Oh. This is gruesome. He decapitated at least 12 victims and kept some of the severed heads and mementos in his apartments. On a few occasions, he broke into dwellings at night and bludgeoned his victims as they slept. Death penalty? 1975, it was arrested and jailed in Utah for aggravated kidnapping and attempted criminal assault. He then became a suspect in a progressively longer list of unsolved homicides in several states. Facing murder charges in Colorado, he engineered 2 dramatic escapes and committed further assaults in Florida and Cleveland. Boy, you think you get away with it once you just go on the. Oh, you got to stick with it, man. I guess, including 3 murders before his ultimate recapture in 1978 for the Florida homicides. He received 3 death sentences in 2 trials. Went to the wrong state, buddy. Bundy was executed at Florida State Railford, 1989. Biographer. See, 11 years you guys paid taxes for that guy. Describe him as a sadistic sociopath who uses pleasure in other humans' pain. Boo, 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 boo. Wow, alright. Childhood, born. Boo, father, identity never confirmed. Some kind of birth signs, paternity, salesman, and Air Force veteran. Although to others, father listed unknown. Louise, his mom, raised by a single mom, claimed she had been seduced by a war. Seduced by a Vietnam War veteran. No, that would be World War II veteran. Just seduced. No agency, no control. Just, man, I wish men had the power of, hey, I seduce you. Now come back to my place. The King County Sheriff listed the father of the files. All right, so he didn't grow up with wealth. First 3 years of his life, Bundy lived in Philadelphia with his paternal grandparents. Raised him as son to avoid social stigma that accompanied birth outside of wedlock. Family friends, mother, older sister. Eventually discovered the truth. Family friend. His grandparents were his parents, and that his mother was his older sister. He eventually discovered the truth of the recollection. Tell a girlfriend that a cousin showed him a copy of his birth certificate, calling him a bastard. Doesn't sound like he grew up in the greatest circumstances. Graduated from high school, attended the University of Puget Sound for 1 year before transferring to University to study Chinese. Oh. I don't know about that one. Is that what... He is a boomer, so he would be grandfathered in, given the relations with the... Maybe he wanted to join the military. I don't know. Dropped out, worked minimum wage job, so he has real world working. And then he worked on Nelson Rockefeller's presidential campaign, became Arthur Fletcher's driver and bodyguard during Fletcher's campaign for lieutenant governor. Attended Republican convention in Miami as a Rockefeller delegate. Shortly thereafter, lack of ambition. All right, I'm not going to say he majored in worthless stuff because that was 1967 and a degree was a good degree back then. He did have some real world working experience. Back in Washington. I'm just going to storm a relationship, dated gals. Focused on going and realizing some psychology major. Oh, there you go. All you psychology majors all trying to figure yourselves out. Go get How Not to Become a Millennial and read the chapter on psychology boomers and just what a fucking psychological mess psychologists are. That's like teachers teaching. You got the world's dumbest people teaching our children, and you got the world's most mentally ill people talking to you about your mental health. Like, what's next? Fat people telling you about health. Oh, wait, Denmark's health minister. I think it was Denmark. Look it up. Became honor student, well-regard, hotline crisis center, boo-da-boo, crime writer, ba-da-ba, graduated, kept working in politics, went to law school. God, he was pretty participatory in the Republican Party. Broke off contact. It's just going on. So he worked and then he went murdered a bunch of people. Jeez. And then he sat in prison. All right, so we got enough. He didn't come from wealth. He didn't major in stupid stuff. Has real world working experience. Well, what's he doing now? He's dead. Was he in prison? So it didn't have There's no penalty on prison, although I guess there should be. But I guess he's got the perfect score. He's got a perfect score of 0. He's got no blemishes in that regard. So once again, the Clarey test is not this universal metric by which to determine if people should run for public office, let alone whether you want to have a beer with them. Do I want a beer with Ted Bundy? No. Should he run for office? No. Look, he was trying to get into politics. If anything, it's like, whoa, people who willingly get into politics, there's something wrong with them. They're usually tyrants. In this case, the guy's a mass murderer. All right, that's it. Questions, answers, AskSoConsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.